So, I guess you're not essential, hey? And we all learned that when people lost their jobs after the big COVID scares pretty much were over and people were vaccinated and then people started losing their jobs. But there was a time where COVID Kawaii was real. And this is COVID Kawaii, and it's sort of like a reminder this is what happens lest we forget whenever there's a COVID virus that we don't understand, then this is what happened 4 years ago. And I don't think anyone's really forgotten. I think people want to forget about COVID, but it's still very prominent in the news and in our lives. So I'm not sure if everyone would want to play this after going through that, but anyways, remember that big COVID thing, like just remember the masks, remember cleaning your groceries and wash your hands 10 times a day. This brings it all back to you as if it was yesterday. Maybe it was yesterday. The food shortages, the police protecting toilet paper, only pepperoni pizza at the store. I went through that, lived that. That was the reality just a few years ago, and it's hard to believe it was the reality, and now everything costs more instead. So this game may bring flashbacks, and that's what I was saying. Maybe people want to forget. Even if they can't forget, they want to pretend that they've forgotten and just move on. But COVID Kawaii has a sense of humor really in doing a tower defense game like this, where it's a pandemic tower defense. You're cleaning supplies, fighting COVID-19 in a number of scenarios like the grocery store, I think it was the beach. It's been a little while since I played it. Then there's like down City Hall. I think there was like a parade. I don't want to spoil like the scenarios because they're kind of cool to see how different they are from level to level. And the first few waves, I found it was very easy, and then it's like, okay, you got to start upgrading your gear, and depending on the enemy coming in, like there's like a bird enemy that flies by, and I feel like the sprays and all the things that you use to fight COVID and prevent from getting COVID at the end of the stage, which is what happens when you die and you don't adequately defend your territory, your grocery store, or wherever. Yeah, so it does get harder, but it's still fun, and I found it was like oddly addictive. And when I first played this, I thought, like, my initial thought was, hey, I'm gonna play this for 5 minutes. Like, this looks like a game that I won't want to play any further. And I was so wrong. Like, I literally spent 5 minutes went to like 30 minutes to 3 hours to like 5 or 6 hours. And I'm like, wow, I was going to play other games today, but I really wanted to see where's this game going with COVID and the levels and everything. So, yeah, if COVID gets past your line of defense, you get COVID, it's game over. You're at home, maybe you'll lose your job. Who knows? But then you get a chance to replay that stage, try again, do better, upgrade your gear maybe. So there are only 12 maps, each unique with their own challenges. I sort of went through them a little bit. Each tool is vastly different. Spray bottle I feel like has great range, but it's kind of weak, like a sanitizer bottle, I guess. The bleach container is strong but slow. I never used it. The booster shots are powerful, but you can only place one on each level. I think the one's the main shot, and the second one's your booster shot. And then there's the scrubber, which I used at the beginning, but they move so slowly. They're powerful, but they move so slowly that I just went back to the sprays. And I feel like the sprays that they give you are like the best overall. They're not as powerful, but at least they're fast enough that you can stop things. So anyways, so behind the cutesy graphics, and this is what fooled me, is there's a really meaty game to this. And I cannot believe I meant to play it for 5 minutes. It became 30 to 6 hours. I beat the game. I leveled up a lot of the things that you can unlock and level up, but then I just thought, okay, I gotta do something else. Yeah, so there's a lot of unlockables. There's cosmetics. I didn't really do the cosmetics because they cost a lot, and I don't think they have um, any real effect on the game, like on the actual how they perform. So um, the episodic content's short, but I just feel like each level in this game is highly creative, and I was surprised by that because at first you sort of get the impression that this game is just like, um, they just did it as a joke. But when you start playing it, you start to see like how they design the levels, and just how fun the game gets watching and improving your tower defense. It's not like other tower defenses where I actually enjoyed it and wanted to finish it, and I don't get that feeling from like Bloons or anything else that I've played. And I would prefer fun original content. Like, I'd rather have a shorter game, and this game definitely is short, than have a super long game that's just not fun. And over uninspired one-player modes. Yeah, so there's online, there's co-op. I didn't really try that so much. I sort of enjoyed just playing it solo. And it's deceptively addictive. You want to dominate stages that you barely passed and go back to them and be like, hey, this is hilarious. I'm like totally destroying COVID. Now the con is like there's pretty much the storytelling is non-existent. I mean, does it matter? Maybe. Does it? Do you get like a amazing ending? No, you just get like a text scroll, I think, at the end, from what I remember. It's fine and you forget about it, and the visuals are simple, but like you sort of forget about it once you start playing the game. I feel like they do a good job. They're not amazing, but they're enough to keep you playing. Some of the audio I feel like is really grating and very repetitive. There's one stage I think I played it for like an hour or two, and I just like tuned out the music. I didn't turn it off. I was just like, whatever. My brain just ignored it because it repeats within, I felt like 40 seconds. Um, but yeah, I was relieved when other stages had different music, like very different music. It was just that one stage at the beginning. Sound effects are suitably silly and amusing. They fit the game too. They're actually fun to listen to, especially when you have like a billion of these hand sanitizers firing at once. It's kind of hilarious. If you have zero interest in the unlockables, you'll probably blaze through the games. 12 maps. Forget about upgrading your gear or cosmetics. The fun is really upgrading your gear to the point where like you experience no stress with a tower defense, and you're just like sitting back like, yeah, man, I'm able to unlock the rest of this game. Cool. So the game goes for $17.49 regular price. It feels a little bit high to me. I think I got it for $8, which feels like a sweet deal for a few hours of gameplay. Like, it's a solid, fun few hours of play, which I would prefer than 50 hours of trekking across like a large Skyrim like landscape. I feel like this is the most fun COVID-19 game I played to date, and in like 4 years of seeing games and going through Steam, not wish lists, but the suggested lists, I think that says quite a bit. And considering the number of games I've seen in my life, thousands of games, this one stands out as like one of the tower defenses I can tolerate and actually enjoy playing. I feel like that's a sweet deal. It's just not a basic first-person shooter like so many of the COVID games that came out in the last few years that get boring in 30 seconds. I would honestly give this an 8.5 out of 10. I know people were trashing the graphics. I'm like, it's not about the graphics. It's about how much fun, the quirkiness, the humor, and it's all there. It's a fun game that anyone can play. I hate to go back to cliche and enjoy it because it's one of the best tower defenses I feel like I've ever played and seen, just for all the reasons I've mentioned. For sheer fun and amusement, never overstays its welcome, which is a problem. I feel like a lot of games these days now have bloat, and that's why like we look back at these games that are designed a certain way. That's the game. Unlike COVID-19, which has overstayed itself. So anyways, don't get COVID, keep on gaming, have a COVID quiet time. Bye.